lady still ain't collected on her suit against the Jacksons. And Janet, you got the money to pay that lady that money for beating her up. Stop it. You know you getting a shitload of child support from that rich dude over there. Girl, you could pay that lady her money. In the spring of 1988, Jerome Howard, the 35-year-old president of business affairs for Joseph and Catherine Jackson's many entertainment corporations, received a telephone call from someone named Kenneth Choi, a Korean businessman who desperately wanted to arrange a meeting with Joseph. Child, we know this fitting to be a mess. September 1988, Michael telephoned Catherine and Joseph from Liverpool. He was lonely and missed his family. His tone was weary. I need a break. I've been thinking about all of us. The family is falling apart. Do you know that? Catherine told Michael she agreed with him. What can I do, Michael? She asked. Michael let out a long sigh. I'll talk to you and Joseph when I get back, he offered. He asked to speak to Joseph. Michael then apologized to his father for some of the material written in his autobiography, Moonwalk, which had eventually been published by Doubleday. He explained that he hadn't written the book himself and that the critical portions were written by someone else. Okay, girl. Hold on, pause. Michael don't let shit fly. Nothing fly. So I doubt very seriously that someone would have the gall to write something in his book that he didn't want written. I think that was just his way of trying to ease over everything and be like, Dad, let's just put it behind us, because there's no way I'm gonna believe that anybody would put anything that was not what he wanted to be in the book and Michael Jackson be okay with it. He explained that he hadn't written the book himself and that the critical portions were written by someone else. Whenever Michael is publicly critical of Joseph, he feels badly. Joseph wanted to know if Michael was planning to rejoin his brothers after the Bad Tour. Why, one might wonder, would he try to push that sensitive issue when Michael was clearly reaching out to him? Because that goddamn Joseph is a habitual line stepper. Ain't he a Leo? Okay now. Didn't want to rejoin the brothers, and please don't push me about it. Joseph then told Michael that anything he had ever heard about him wanting to exploit him or profit from his success was simply not true. I don't want to be involved in your business, Michael, Joseph said, according to Catherine's memory. I have money problems, yeah, but all I want is for us to be a family again. Don't you want to do that? Don't you want that? I do want that, Michael said. I really do, Joseph. The conversation ended on a hopeful note. Catherine and Joseph felt optimistic that they would soon have their son back. Joseph, the timing couldn't have been better. He was in serious financial trouble after having lost $700,000 in bad oil well investments and over $250,000 in his Joe Cola beverage company. Now, why in the fuck would Joe name a soda after himself? Years earlier, he had entered into an agreement with real estate developer and entrepreneur Gary Berwin to purchase the Berwin Entertainment Center complex in Hollywood for $7.1 million. Why would Joseph do that? He ain't got no money. Joseph indicated that money was not a problem, said Gary. To Michael, it's not a problem to Michael. I had no reason to doubt him. Michael had just bought the Beatles catalog for $47 million. So I believed that the family had access to money. In fact, Joseph laughed when I brought up the question of finances. The kind of family I've got, money's no object, he said. We do know that the dude Gary ain't get that money, because we know Joseph ain't got that kind of money. But Gary is mad because he's like, I've been banking on this money. You told me you was going to buy this stadium for me. Now me and my wife ready to travel. I'm about to sue you because you didn't put up the church's money. October 1988, damages to Gary Berwin had been assessed at $3 million. Since Joseph did not have the money, Gary obtained a judgment against him. To this day, he has not collected on it. Like that girl who Janet, Randy, and Catherine beat up. I forget her name. Remember when they jumped that little girl and Catherine had her in the hallway, choking her out, smacking her in the face with her pocketbook, stayed away from my husband. And the little girl's like, it's not me you need to be worried about. It's Giovanni's mama you need to be worried about. Lady still ain't collected on her suit against the Jacksons. I'm like, God damn. And Janet, you got the money to pay that lady that money for beating her up. Stop it. You know you getting a shitload of child support from that Muslim rich dude over there. Girl, you could pay that lady her money. This day, he has not collected on it. It was a debacle, he said. And all because I got myself into this Jackson family mess. It was the sorriest thing I'd ever done in my life. Girl, you a businessman. You should know better than to trust a ninja like that. And then how you even know the relationship between Joe Jackson and his son? You don't know. You supposed to be counting Joe Jackson's pockets. Not to Michael, of course. You know, he ain't got the money, so let me call Michael. Michael said no, absolutely not. He was not going to bail his father out, and he could not be convinced to do so, even by Catherine. He has to learn, Michael told one of his associates. If I give him the money, he'll be back for more and more and more. Word. I learned this the hard way. You hear me? Years ago, when I was still working in the government back home in the DMV, years ago, this probably was 2005, 2006, something like that. One of my Judies asked me to pay their rent one time. People always think I got money. The fact is, because you don't have children, they think that you have money. And because you didn't have a student loan to pay back, because my mom worked for UDC, they think you have money. And because you're married to a nurse, they think that you have money. That's my wife's money. That's not my money. Judy was like, yeah, can you pay my rent? You ain't got nothing towards the rent? Nothing? Ding, ding, ding. That should have told me. She ain't got nothing towards the rent? Nothing, bitch. If the rent is $1,200, you should be missing about, $200, $300. So then that way I can, loan you the $200 or $300 you need to pay your rent. But the goddamn girl ain't had nothing towards the rent. That should have been my sign right there. Nathan, okay? I paid the rent. Not more than 2 months later, I was being asked to pay the rent again. And you still ain't paid me back for the first time I paid your rent. If I give him the money, he'll be back for more and more and more. Damn it, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Joseph also asked some of his other children for help. Okay. I don't know which child got it to give, but okay, including Janet, all of whom told him they could not and would not assist him. Perhaps they didn't think the investment was a good one, considering Joseph's track record. Larry Anderson, a friend of Joseph's for 15 years, explained, Joseph loves his kids. He hoped they would help out. It seems like a lot of money, but really it isn't when you think of all that was made in that family. See, who's this man named? This man right here, Larry. You counting pockets too. Joseph and Catherine spoke to Jackie, Tito, Marlon, Randy, Jermaine, and Jermaine's fiance, Peggy, Margaret Maldonado. Jermaine and Hazel divorced in July 1988. He and Margaret would eventually have a second child. The brothers had to be approached carefully on the chance they might not agree to go to Korea. Now, because we done been through a lot. Korea is where that man Mr. Mooney is, the Dr. Choi or the Kenneth Choi guy. Remember, Choi is trying to get to Michael through family, child, and it ain't working. Brothers had to be approached carefully on the chance they might not agree to go to Korea. For Joseph, it was as if he was going into the lion's den. That's how suspicious the brothers were of him and of anyone who would have anything to do with him. I get it. Now look, he told Jerome, who had been waiting for him in the living room. You go in there and do what you can, but don't talk to them about nothing but contracts. Don't mention the Moonies and all that stuff, because then they're not going to want to do it. Just talk to them about the money they're going to make. That's it. When Jerome went into the 32-seat theater, he found Jackson family members scattered all about. I thought, damn, these people don't even want to sit near each other, Jerome recalled. Jerome stood in front of the screen and delivered a speech about the proposed concerts. He talked about the millions that could be made and how much publicity could be generated. He didn't mention the Moonies or much about the financial backing other than Kenneth Choi's involvement. Kenneth Choi is in charge of the Moonies. Okay? And if you like, who's the Moonies, child? They like a religion. That's it. You know, I ain't gonna call them a cult because I don't want to fight. Immediately afterwards, Marlon rose from his chair. No way, he said. Forget it. No more family tours for me. I don't care how many millions are involved. I learned my lesson the last time. Count me out. Marlon, girl, you crazy? Are you crazy? What is you doing now? Jackson, perform. Make your money. Why you gonna be the first? Count you out. Girl, please. Please, girl, stop it. Marlon was finished with the Jacksons, and he had ambivalent feelings about Michael. The brothers had hoped to go with Michael on the Bad Tour, if not in a full reunion capacity, maybe just as part of the act, singing a medley of old hits. Michael was elusive about the possibility and never actually said that he wouldn't be using them on the show. He's the one who had mentioned it to them, but given the family dynamic, who knows or remembers why? In the end, though, he decided against the idea. I'd hear from friends what was going on, Marlon complained later in an interview. If he didn't want to tell me the truth, he shouldn't have said anything, but instead he lies. The last time I got a straight answer from Michael was back in 1984. No doubt, Marlon was still stung from the most recent fib Michael had told him, which was that he was not moving out of Havenhurst and into Neverland. Still, Marlon had a warm spot in his heart for his brother. When he had trouble extricating himself from his mediocre CBS recording contract, Michael called the company's president, Walter Yetnikoff, and secured his brother's release. I just don't want anything to further ruin the way I feel about Mike, he said. I don't think we should work together. It's better when we don't. Well, too bad for you, Jackie said to Marlon, because I'm in. Me too, said Randy. Jermaine conferred with Margaret. The two whispered back and forth to each other urgently. Okay, he said finally, I'm in too. Me in too, Tito piped up. But what about Michael? Randy wanted to know. What are we going to do about Michael? We don't need him, Jackie said. Girl, what? Jackie, are you crazy? I know you get bitches, but is you crazy? We can do it ourselves without him. Jackie, girl. Stop it, girl. Stop it. Captain agreed. Oh, let's not bring Michael into this, she said. Please, isn't there some way to do this without him? Jerome shook his head. He had to be careful how he put it, but the fact was that the Olympic Stadium in Seoul seats 60,000 people, and the brothers would not be able to fill it on their own. They never performed without Michael, and this was no time to start. Where they doing it now? In Vegas. They're doing it now. Now they might not fill seats the way that, they would if Michael was there, but I mean they doing okay out there in Vegas. Besides, the Koreans wanted Michael Jackson a lot more than they wanted the rest of them. I think it would be best if we approached Michael, Jerome said cautiously. We should at least give him the opportunity we have to make this much money. Michael don't, girl, just leave him to Mother and me, Jermaine offered impatiently. We'll talk him into it. How? Randy wanted to know. Jermaine turned to Catherine. She took a deep breath and sighed wearily. I'll see what I can do, she said. I'm just afraid that if we push too hard, we'll lose Michael forever. And then what will we do? Yeah, what will you do, Catherine?